As you can tell by the title, which I have not chosen yet, this is another Rant and Random Thoughts video. For those of you who have never sat through one of my Rant and Random Thoughts videos before, be forewarned, there is typically copious amounts of swearing and cursing, use of the Lord's name in vain, and the complete shitting on whatever it is you hold dear. So if you have problems with that, you can fuck off through the door off over there. Keep going. Don't let it hit you in the ass on the way out. Now, if you're one of these little faggots that works for YouTube or the SPLC, the FBI, whoever, and you got to type this stuff up for my file, you know, just turn off the volume and go off of whatever the hell YouTube says it is in the subtitles whenever they finally get around to uploading it. Videos like this, they tend to not want to add subtitles to. Now, just so you know, this is alcohol fueled, and this one is fueled by Miller Genuine Draft. The last can I have from the case I bought with my tax refund, and it is the last beer that I have, and I cannot afford to get any more. Why? Because of that potato-headed motherfucker who's in Washington, D.C., and his fucked up economic policies, which are meant to bankrupt all of us, turn us into fucking renters and serfs. But that's not what this Rant and Random Thoughts video is about. This is about the two primary groups, really, that are controlled by these fuckholes, that are going to bring around this chaos and complete dissolution of our economy. So I'm going to take a drink here. Wet my whistle before I go into my little soliloquy or my manifesto that I recently posted on Telegram as of a couple hours ago before I went and decided to take a short walk, collect my thoughts as to how I wanted to approach this particular subject, which I have been fuming over for the last 24 hours. But I shall go into my little writing here. You can find this over on Telegram, and yes, you can forward this to others. It is posted in the public. People have already asked me permission if they can forward it. Go ahead, forward it to your FBI handler. I don't care. First off, for the people monitoring this channel at the SPLC, ADL, FBI, DHS, CIA, NSA, and every other Big Brother agency spying on us, get fucked, you Gestapo-loving faggots. Now, I will not shed a tear when our corrupt system of government and society falls. We are bringing this fall on ourselves. All of us have caused God to turn his face from us. Even you Pharisees in the Christian churches. The ones who believe you are better Christians because you give more to the church, pray more, or attend church services more than others. I tell you to remember the story of the widow's mite and Jesus' own words concerning Pharisees. We have allowed this once great nation to fall. We sat back and said, well, we'll just vote harder next time. And also, well, government will never turn against us because they need our money for their salaries. Trust me, I have heard all the excuses myself my entire life. We are the ones who have allowed the communists to take over our schools. We are the ones who allowed clearly corrupt and evil people to run for office and take power. We are the ones who gave them the power of the all-watching, always listening, and all-intrusive police state which they have placed over us. And we clapped as it was brought into the open after 9/11, and every time it is made stronger since then. We are to blame for abortions to have taken the place of ancient child sacrifices. After the SCOTUS overturned Roe v. Wade, the Church of Satan filed a lawsuit stating that abortion is a religious act and can't be banned because of the First Amendment. We are the ones who have allowed drag shows for kids and drag queen story time because we didn't mobilize our churches to protest them, with thousands surrounding the events before they had received the full protection and support of the regime in power in the District of Criminals. All of us are to blame for the degradation of our society, the stripping of our God-given rights, and for what is to come. God punishes societies that turn from him, and we will be punished. And I will not shed a tear. Instead, when it falls, when the regime in charge takes their masks off, and we see that even politicians we thought were on our side were actually working for the enemy all along, when they strip the remaining shreds of our God-given rights from us for our protection, when they say it is time to skip elections and do an open selection of the next clown to each office, you will find me in the field by that point, and I will not shed a tear. Instead, I will release my rage. My rage about what has been done to our children. My rage for about the mockery of a government it has become. My rage for the dishonoring of what the Founding Fathers fought and died for. And my rage for the betrayals we have done to all those people overseas who put their lives and the lives of their families on the line because they believed we were there for their futures. My rage against all the commie and Nazi faggots who have been pushing nothing but division and hatred of people for traits they cannot control because of genetics. My rage because of the destruction of this once great nation. I will not hold back. I will not care if I die. I do not care if I have to kill hundreds of the enemies sent against me. I will fight. I will fight to restore this republic to what the founders intended. And I will fight anyone who believes they have the right to subjugate anyone else in this land. I will fight to free every inch of this nation and to restore her. I will fight and I will not stop. So back to you scum trying to subjugate us. Be forewarned. Fuck around and you will find out the rage of all of us have contained while you thought we are nothing but cowards. Long live liberty. Now, you may notice I mentioned two particular groups in there. And these are the ones I want to talk about in this Rant and Random Thoughts video. I have not chosen a title yet. You know, I've thought about things such as Nazis and commies can fuck off. Nazis and commies can go to hell. Nazis and commies like it up the ass and play with each other's ding-dongs while they do it. I want all of you to know something first and foremost here. Nazis, those of you that think you're Nazbol or, you know, you're the new alt-right, you're the new white supremacist, you're the new KK, and all you fucking little faggots. Guess what? You're controlled by the feds, and you have been for decades. Back in the 90s, during the Clinton years, the thing they used to keep pushing to us when we were in the military was, we had to be prepared to fight the white supremacist militias here in the United States. If you were stationed in the U.S., that was a big thing of your training. That was the main enemy you faced fighting on your base when you were training. If you weren't fighting Iraqi forces or the Serbs or some Serb-linked group, you were fighting a white supremacist militia group. That was extremely common, and we used to have conversations about this stuff, you know, amongst ourselves, in our platoons, our squads, and that. And we all came to a pretty good consensus, which we ultimately were proven right on. And we had a saying that if the feds pulled all their people out of the white supremacist movements, of the KKK, and of the neo-Nazi faggots, there'd only be 3 people left in those movements, and none of them would have been the one who was in charge the day before all the Fed boys left. And you know what? We were right. Because there was this little event called 9/11, and after 9/11, W. Bush pulled all the federal agents out of militias, out of the white supremacist movement, and focused them on Islamic fascist terrorists. And you know what happened? White supremacist groups disappeared. Their websites on the fledgling internet went without updates for a few years. There was no more rallies. There was no more protests. There was no more shows of white power to the media. Why? Because the feds weren't there to organize that stuff. You had a couple brain-dead idiots in the middle of butt-fuck nowhere who, you know, they probably were actual white supremacists, but the people that actually controlled the groups they were in, they weren't there anymore. Because they were working on cases out of the mosques and stuff, trying to track down actual terrorists at the time. And, you know, that's the way it was up until 2008, 2009, when shit-stained 44 got into office. And then all of a sudden, we started to see a resurgence of the white supremacy movement. And at the same time, we started to see less federal overwatch of the known terrorist organizations. Kind of proved us right. You know, the things we used to talk about in the 90s, doesn't it, when you think about it? So all you little faggots that are watching us right now that are in the Nazi movement, and if you're offended, fuck off, go to hell, unsubscribe, leave. This channel's not for you anyway. Because I consider you my enemy just as much as the commies. You know, you guys are run by the feds. And I'm going to give you a little hint too. Because this was identified by the militia movement a long time ago. 90% of the time, you have someone in a militia movement that starts spouting white supremacy bullshit, starts spouting Nazi propaganda points. They're working for the feds. Either they are a federal agent or they're one of those little trolls paid for by them, sitting at a computer terminal at an NSA facility. If they're in a group, well, it's a pretty good bet that that son of a bitch works for law enforcement. So if you have someone like that in your group, you might want to remove him right now, because I guarantee his primary job is to get all the intel he possibly can about you. He's created a dossier about everything you own, what your intentions are, your capabilities, who your family members are, and which family members they can do things to get you to do what they want. Act accordingly. Should this person find themselves bruised and bleeding, lying beside the side of a road somewhere, well, maybe they fell out of the vehicle as it was going down the road. They accidentally opened up the door and fell out. I don't know. Just don't do something stupid and cause them to stop breathing. That would be bad. Now, for those of you faggots that fall in the communist ideologies, and I do mean faggots when we talk about Antifa, and you guys spend more time fucking each other in the ass and stroking each other off than actually doing anything that's worthwhile in your lives. You know, you just sit around and talk about how hard things are for you and it'd be so much better if you were in charge. And you can't wait till you create a true socialist society. Everything will be perfect. It'll be a utopia because no one's ever gotten communism right before, not even the Soviets. But you for sure are going to do it because you're smarter and you have a gender studies degree. Well, guess what, fag boys? You're controlled by the feds too. That's right. Those unknown leaders who don't exist at the top of the hierarchy of Antifa, they work in the FBI. Maybe you should clean your own house. If you're serious. What you do is up to you because, quite frankly, I don't give a fuck what the hell a commie does. I really don't. Other than beyond you stop breathing and become worm food. That's all I really care about. Because quite frankly, I consider communists and Nazis, socialists, Marxists, Maoists, fascists, the alt-right wing, KKK, white supremacists, black supremacists, La Raza, Mexican, Hispanic supremacists, all of you guys are the fucking enemy. Because all you live for, all you breathe for is division. And I'm going to give you some things here to consider. Now, first off, for those of you in the Nazi movement and you hate being called socialists, a little reminder, what's the actual title of your group? Where did it come from? Oh yes, the National Socialist German Workers' Party. Socialist German Workers' Party. You're fucking socialists. You're communists. So choke on that. Now, another thing here. How communists and Nazis are the same. They're both authoritarian ideologies. They both view the state as the God when they are the ones who are in control. And because the state is God, no one can question it and no one can go against it. And when someone does, both communists and Nazis believe their rivals should be not denied God-given rights and should be put in camps and exterminated. Now, the Nazis call them work camps, and the communists call them re-education camps. But they're both concentration camps. They're both extermination camps. And they're both meant for the people that disagree with them. And I'm sure you fuckers are doing everything you can to find where I'm at to put me in one of your special camps. Have fun. Both ideologies Nazism, and communism are racist at their very core. Nazis hate anyone who's not white, isn't Aryan, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed son of a bitch who not even Hitler was. And for those of you who don't know, Hitler was actually of Jewish descent, and that's been proven through genetic testing of close living relatives. So choke on that, you Nazi faggot motherfuckers. Communists, as we've seen nowadays, they hate anyone who's not white in the United States. And I got something to tell you here. How many of you are aware that Marx and Lenin both seriously despised black people and wanted them exterminated? You know, I bet you don't talk about that at your communist meetings, do you? That the people that you look up to, that you praise as your gods, wanted to exterminate black people. Think about that, BLM. How many of you know that Che Guevara, that little piece of shit that you get t-shirts of and you wear all the time to show that you're a nonconformist, as every one of you wear the exact same fucking t-shirt? How many of you are aware he was severely racist against black people and used to kill them when he would come across them? You aware of that one? You proud of that one? Oh, but you've reformed, haven't you? You hate white people now instead of black people. You're still racist motherfuckers. Both Nazis and communists change history to fit their twisted worldview. Yes, you do. Both of you do it. Look at the communists nowadays. Oh, everything is about racism. That's what America was founded on. So we have to destroy history and start at the new year zero, just like Pol Pot did in Cambodia. Don't know what happened there? Look it up. Cambodia, 1970s, 1980s. That's where communists want to lead you to. And you know what? That's where Nazis want to lead us to also. Both Nazis and communists believe in world domination at all costs. Neither one is above sacrificing their own people in order to achieve their goals. And then after they kill you, they'll say you're a martyr. And you know what? My final point here, once again, just to double back, like Circle Jerk Saki used to, double back. Both are controlled by the globalists. Both in the US are controlled by the FBI. And I wouldn't put it past the exact same department, the exact same task force in the FBI runs both. You're nothing but puppets. You're nothing but cannon fodder. And you know what? To me, both of you are my enemy. Someone asked me a question once in the chats over on YouTube. Well, what if you're in a fight and the only person who shows up to help you is a National Socialist? What are you going to do? You know what my answer is? I'm going to shoot you both. I'm going to slit both your fucking throats. I'm going to plant both of you in the fucking dirt. Because you are both equally fucking worthless to me and to this country. You are the problems of this country. You are the cause of it. You are the foot soldiers the enemy is using to destroy this nation. And I will not shed a tear as I take my knife, slide it across your throat while you beg for your lives. I will laugh as I hear you choking in your own blood as it is pumping out from that slice that will go all the way back to your spinal cord. I will watch both of you die, and I will be glad that I did it. So let's change pictures here. Well, that's the end of that beer. Now, this next little part of the rant here, random thoughts, it's directed to you Millennials and Gen Zs, you Zoomers. You guys are a bunch of idiots, you know that? Why? Because you idiots have fallen for the propaganda. You have been taught your entire lives. You came of age during the Obama years. And you were taught that there was only two choices. It's either Coke or it's Pepsi. It's black or it's white. It's radical communism or it's National Socialism. And you were taught, you were indoctrinated on what to think, but not taught how to think. None of you that I have met ever seem to be able to grasp that there is more than those two options. And the greatest of those options is right there in front of you. The example that you say you want to follow, but you want to pervert it in your weird, fucked up ideology of either multiculturalism as part of white replacement, or you want to be on the other end because that's the way you were taught. You were taught Coke or Pepsi. Well, if you're not on the white replacement side, you want to be on the side where you get rid of anyone who isn't white. You guys are a bunch of fucking idiots. Now, I've said this before. I'm a Gen Xer. And as some people say, we're kind of the overlooked generation. Why? Because we're the transition generation. We transitioned from those boomers who were really self-absorbed to, another self-absorbed generation, millennials and the Zoomers. You guys are constantly pissing and moaning and whining about how things are so hard for you. I can't find a woman. I can't find the right type of job. I mean, I got to start out at minimum wage. Yes, that's how it works, you fucker. No one is going to hire you out of high school and pay you 20 or 30 bucks a fucking hour to flip a goddamn cheeseburger or pull the goddamn fries out of the fucking fryer. You need experience. That's what minimum wage jobs were. So suck it up, Buttercup, and shut the fuck up. Oh, I can't find a woman. There's no women out there for me. They're all whores and they're not interested in me because I'm the wrong skin color and I'm a fat, lazy piece of shit. Shut the fuck up. There are women out there who might find you interesting if you're not a fat fucking slob. Get off your fucking ass, away from in front of the goddamn TV, off of the fucking Nazi websites, and start fucking being a man and looking for yourself. Reach down between your legs, feel around. Do you feel a hole or do you feel a pole? And if you feel a pole, feel around underneath for a little sack with a couple marbles in it. Give them a fucking tug. Get out there and fucking be a man. Or don't you know what a man is because mommy raised you your entire fucking life? Suck it the fuck up. Oh, things are so hard for me. You're not leaving me anything. Guess what? Boomers haven't left us shit. My generation's parents spent all their money on them fucking selves. We spent our time alone growing up, learning how to be self-sufficient, learning how to take care of ourselves. And then when we got old enough, we went out and got jobs and we learned, hey, we should do like our grandparents did, the greatest generation, and work hard as we fucking can to succeed. And we did. And we still are. My grandmother, before she died years ago, she did used to say she was proud of our generation, Generation X. Because we learned self-sufficiency. We learned to be men. And the women learned to be women and how to take care of their families. But something that she found really important is that we took the teachings of Martin Luther King Jr. to heart. Now, I don't give a fuck about what he was like in his personal life. I really don't. We remember him for a reason. We remembered him because he used to teach us, or taught us, to judge a man by his character, not the color of his skin. My generation took that to heart. There's a lot of mixed marriages, interracial marriages in my family. And I'm not talking a black guy and a subservient white woman. I'm talking a white guy with Hispanic chick, or a white guy with a black chick, white guy with an Asian chick, white guy with a Native American chick, or, some of my female cousins did marry Hispanics and that stuff. But they still married people of the same values as them. Conservative values, traditional values. So it didn't matter what the skin color was of that other person in a relationship. If you were blind, hear them talk, hear what they believe in. They believed the same thing. They believed in the things that the founding fathers fought and died for. We took that stuff to heart. And you younger kids, you just want to shit all over it. Why? Well, because things weren't given to you on a silver platter. Mwah. Shut the fuck up, pussy. And if this offends you, fuck off. I'm beyond the point of caring. I really fucking am. You need to wake up and realizing that being a little whiny fucking bitch is never going to get you anywhere in life. Manning the fuck up. Standing up for what you believe in. Living according to the values that you say you hold dear. That's what matters. My generation marched into the desert more than once because we were lied to and told that America was attacked. We followed orders. We went and we did the best job we could. We questioned why we were there, but we still followed orders. We worked as hard as we could. We fought for each other. We bled for each other. And some left friends behind. But we got through it, and we came back. And what do we see now? I mean, we're at that transition now where we're supposed to be moving into our final years of work and then moving on to that dream of retirement. And now we're finding out that, hey, all that money we worked and scrimped for our entire lives that we set aside to save for the future, maybe pay for a month of expenses. We're never going to be able to retire. Retirement won't exist. If we ever retire, we lose our homes. And with the mentality of fourth wave feminism, the dumber women will probably end up leaving the guy because he can't keep supplying her all the fancy shit. Won't be able to get her that new car, the fancy clothes that she wants, take her on that vacation to Hawaii or Tahiti. But hey, if she cuts a sling load and she goes, she's going to find herself in a worse situation when she's on her own. That's something our generation seems to have, is the attitude of, oh, the fuck well. Have fun. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. You ain't the only fish in the sea. I'll find a better model. Younger, more agreeable, hell of a lot prettier, and a hell of a lot more fertile. I suppose you could say I'm part of the don't give a fuck generation, doesn't it? But then there are things we do give a fuck about. We give a fuck about this country. Why? Because a lot of us fought for it. We took an oath to defend it against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And who is an enemy to this nation that we took an oath to? Well, I'd say it's anyone who wants to divide this nation. Anyone who wants to stoke hatred in this nation. Anyone who wants to subjugate someone else because of something they have no control over, like the color of their skin. Things to consider, ain't it? A lot of you younger kids can't process this. You're in that stage right now because your minds can't handle it. Because as I said, you've not been taught how to think. You've been taught what to think. You've never been taught how to think for yourselves your entire life. You've always been taught you're one side or the other, and that there's nothing in between. My generation is telling you, you're full of shit. There's a lot more than two choices out there. So wake the fuck up and join us. Or do a right place. March to that door, open it, walk through it, and close it behind you. And after you're through that door, keep fucking walking. Things to consider. Things to think about. If I hurt your fucking feelings, I don't care. I lose subscribers over this, I don't care. I'll still go on teaching. Trying to get people ready for the fight that's coming. And if I meet you on the battlefield and you're a follower of communist ideologies or Nazi ideologies, you're my enemy. Because you are an enemy to everything the Founding Fathers stood for, fought for, and died for. You are an enemy to that document, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, that I took an oath to defend with my life. And I will defend it. I will fight to restore it. And I will kill all of you motherfuckers when I meet you on the battlefield. There's no difference between a Nazi or a communist, in my opinion. You're both equally fucking worthless and a waste of oxygen. I'll meet you on that battlefield.